we're diving into something truly incredible from our source material, this absolutely empowering concept of alchemical liberation. We're looking at how we can literally heal intergenerational trauma and rewrite our ancestral genetic code. Now, I know that sounds kind of mystical, right? But as we're going to see, it is deeply rooted in how our bodies and our environments interact. So let's jump right in. So, here's the big question. Are we bound to the suffering of our ancestors? If you've ever felt this persistent anxiety, maybe a heavy weight or a shadow that just doesn't feel entirely yours, well, the concepts we're unpacking today suggest the answer is a resounding, liberating no. Okay, let's dive into this first major shift, the myth of genetic determinism, and moving past this idea of an unalterable decree. You know, for the longest time, science kind of operated under this old view that genes were this fixed, immutable script, like sovereign tyrants just dictating your destiny, right? It really felt like we were trapped by the fates of everyone who came before us. But then we have this incredible new view, championed by scientists like Bruce Lipton, showing us that genes are actually responsive potentials. They're dynamic. They're actively participating in this living conversation with your environment, the energetic field, and crucially, your own consciousness.
So what exactly happens to all that immense suffering of the past, the wounds our ancestors had to bear in silence? Well, the source material frames these as epigenetic scars. Basically, these are biochemical echoes of ancestral trauma that get encoded into our survival patterns. But here is the absolute game changer. These scars can be soothed and rewritten. They aren't unchangeable destinies etched into your genome forever. They're literally just biochemical echoes. And the framework suggests we have this incredible ability to transmute them.
Which brings us to the echoes of the ancestors. Let's look at how we actually recognize these inherited frequencies in our day-to-day lives.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how these inherited frequencies show up. We're talking sudden fears, deep patterns of shame, or just totally inexplicable griefs. And it's absolutely crucial to understand that these aren't personal flaws. If you're feeling these heavy emotions rising up and you're thinking, where on earth is this coming from? The research points to them being unresolved ancestral echoes. They are actively seeking integration right there within you.
And I want you to hear this loud and clear. It is not a weakness to feel these things. It is a strength. Your sensitivity to these sudden fears or griefs, it's actually a powerful invitation from your own body. It's an invitation to complete what was left unfinished by your ancestors, to finally lift what's been carried in the dark right up into the light of conscious awareness.
All right, let's shift gears and look through the quantum healing lens. This is where we get into the vibrational reprogramming of your DNA, and it is fascinating.
Let's see how this builds. Instead of staying stuck in those heavy trauma patterns, the hypervigilance, the emotional suppression driven by generations just trying to survive, this framework suggests we can actively cultivate coherent fields. By bringing in breath, sound, intention, and conscious compassion, we can actually soften and repattern those epigenetic markers. The biophotonic and bioacoustic systems in your body literally respond in real time to these present moment fields of coherence. Now, if you're sitting there wondering how on earth you're supposed to heal without knowing your entire family history, take a deep breath. The source material offers this massive sigh of relief. Healing does not require an exhaustive inventory of every single event, wound, or story. You do not need a perfect historical record. The field remembers what your conscious mind can't, simply because these patterns are encoded vibrationally, not narratively. And because it's all vibrational, we can address those distortions directly. We don't have to endlessly analyze the past. We literally just replace static with resonance. We replace entanglement with light. We're offering coherence where there's been fragmentation, basically weaving light right back into the broken spaces of our genetic history.
So how do we actually do this? Let's move to the sacred practices for liberation, or as the sources put it, becoming the living alchemist.
The sources outline 4 actionable sacred tools you can use to take charge of this biological inheritance. First up, quantum breathing rituals. This isn't about wallowing in pain. It's about inviting ancestral memories into the field to bathe them in coherent light. Second, we have vibrational affirmations to declare the liberation of your lineage. Third is sound healing sessions. And fourth, visualizations of clearing the line, literally picturing your ancestral lines being cleansed and realigned with a much higher template. Let's zoom in on that sound healing piece for a second. specifically the frequency of 432 Hz. This is a highly coherent frequency used to soothe cellular memory. The research here suggests that when you listen to music or tones tuned to 432 Hz, you're literally bathing your cells in harmonics of coherence. It's like a sonic massage that helps smooth out those epigenetic scars.
And then we have another absolutely powerful frequency, 528 Hz. So the crucial point here is that 528 Hz and other coherent frequencies don't just sound nice and relaxing, they actively help reprogram the epigenetic markers embedded deep within your DNA. They're actually altering the energetic environment that your genes are responding to. A total game changer.
And you can pair those frequencies with vibrational affirmations, like this profoundly powerful declaration. I release what no longer serves the line. I awaken the codes of vitality, joy, and sovereignty within my blood. Wow, that is an incredibly potent alchemical intention. The framework suggests that when you speak this, you are perfectly marrying practical action with a deep intention to liberate your entire lineage.
Okay, bringing it all together now. Rewriting your genetic destiny as the river of life shifts toward renewal.
The tangible, real-world results of this vibrational shift are just extraordinary. The source material outlines how people start experiencing profound shifts in their relational dynamics, this deep emotional stability, and wildly expanded intuitive capacity. Even physical health transforms. We're talking about chronic, stubborn patterns like autoimmune issues, persistent energetic blockages, and inherited tendencies toward depression starting to unravel. Why? Because the underlying codes have been successfully rewritten at the very level where form is born.
So remember this absolutely core concept. You are not the endpoint of ancestral suffering. You are for sure not a passive carrier of burdens, just doomed to hold the pain of the past forever. No way. You are a living alchemist, standing right at the crossroads of timelines.
The framework suggests you are the living bridge into a brand new reality. You have the capacity to rewrite the codes of the field itself. By healing yourself, the concept proposes you're actually healing those who came before you. You're offering retroactive redemption to lines of suffering whose energies might still be flickering in the hidden corridors of your DNA. You literally become the luminous resinger of the bloodline's ancient, half-forgotten songs. It is such a beautiful realization from these researchers. As you heal, as you breathe, and as you sing, the river of life shifts. It flows right away from repetition and decay, straight toward a sovereign, radiant becoming. You free yourself, and in doing so, you pass forward only the radiant codes of vitality and joy.
I want to leave you with this deeply provocative, memorable thought straight from our source material today. The past is not your prison. It is your field of miracles, waiting for your conscious breath, your willing heart, your luminous remembrance. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope you leave today feeling energized, totally empowered, and ready to awaken the radiant codes waiting right there within your own blood.
Thank you for watching. If something in this resonated with you, then you're already closer than you think. If you're ready to go deeper, there's a link below to my book, Quantum Healing Codes: Unlock the New Science of Self-Rejuvenation. This isn't theory, it's a framework you can actually use. Tap the link below and step into it.